Her stepsisters tear her dress at the mating ceremony until the Alpha King gave her his royal robe. They ripped my dress apart at the mating ceremony while the entire kingdom watched and laughed. Wine-stained, barefoot, and humiliated, I was about to run when the Alpha King did something that made the hall go deathly silent. He gave me his royal mantle, the symbol of divine right that marked someone as his, and every wolf in that room knew what it meant. But here's the problem. I'm wolfless, powerless, the girl who sleeps in ashes. So what does the most feared king in the realm see in me that I can't? Hello, everyone. Before we dive into tonight's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic tales of passion, power, and forbidden love. Your support truly means the world to us. Where are you watching from tonight? Drop your city or country in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much. Now, let us return to our story. Fairy tales lie. I know this now, though I spent years believing otherwise. I thought kindness was currency, that suffering was a test fate administered before delivering salvation. I thought if I endured enough, if I scrubbed enough floors, swallowed enough insults, made myself small and sweet and good, the world would notice. It never did. Hope, I've learned, is the cruelest magic of all. It doesn't kill you quickly, like poison or a blade. It keeps you alive just long enough to watch itself die in your hands. The manor that was once my home is now my prison. My father died when I was 12. A hunting accident, they said, though I sometimes wonder if grief can kill as efficiently as any arrow. He'd never been the same after Mother vanished, disappeared one autumn night without explanation, leaving only absence and a daughter who looked too much like her. When Father remarried, I thought I understood. He was lonely. We both were. Magdalene arrived with 2 daughters of her own and promises of new beginnings, of family knitted whole again. I was foolish enough to believe her. Within a year, Father was dead. Within 2, I learned what I really was to them. Not a daughter, not a sister. A servant. Velith and Serona live like princesses in a castle built on my father's fortune. They wear silk and velvet, their wardrobes overflowing with gowns in jewel tones, emerald, sapphire, amethyst. Their rooms smell of rosewater and imported perfumes. They spend their afternoons at tea parties and their evenings at balls, collecting admirers like trinkets. I spend mine on my knees, scrubbing, washing, mending, cooking, serving. My bedroom, if it can be called that, is a corner of the scullery near the kitchen hearth. I sleep on a thin pallet that reeks of smoke, my hair and skin perpetually dusted with ash no matter how many times I wash. The stones are cold enough to bruise. In winter, I wake shivering. In summer, the heat is suffocating. Magdalene says I should be grateful. Room and board, Kalira. She reminds me, her voice honey-sweet and sharp as a wasp sting. Many orphans have far less. I am not an orphan. This is my father's house. My house. But I learned long ago that truth is no match for power. I own exactly one thing of value. My mother's dress. It's hidden beneath the loose hearthstone in the corner where I sleep, wrapped in oilcloth to protect it from the damp. Pale blue, the color of winter sky just before twilight. The fabric is soft as water, delicate as moth wings. I don't know what it's made of, something finer than anything I've ever touched. It doesn't wrinkle, doesn't fade. When I hold it, I can almost remember her. The sound of her laugh. The way she used to hum while brushing my hair. Sometimes I take it out late at night when the house is sleeping. I press it to my face and breathe in, searching for some trace of her. There's nothing, no scent, no warmth, but I pretend anyway. It's the only proof I have that I was ever anything other than this. The grand lunar mating ceremony is 3 days away. The entire territory is buzzing with it. It happens once every 5 years, when the moon reaches its apex and the packs gather to honor the old bonds. Unmated wolves come from every corner of the realm, hoping to find their fated match beneath the lunar court's watchful eyes. For she-wolves like Velith and Sirona, it's a glittering social event. A chance to be seen, to be chosen by someone powerful. They've been preparing for months. New gowns commissioned, dance lessons, perfumes blended specially to enhance their natural allure. For someone like me, it's something else entirely. Freedom. Every she-wolf of age is required to attend. Even me, despite Magdalene's disdain. If I'm chosen, if some wolf claims me as his mate, I'll leave this place forever. I'll belong to a pack, have a purpose, a position. It doesn't matter if he's kind or cruel, high-ranking or low. Anything is better than this. The ceremony is my one chance. My only chance. Magdalene knows it too. I see it in the way she watches me, her eyes calculating. She's been working me harder than ever, ensuring I'm too exhausted to think, too ragged to be noticed. Yesterday, she accidentally spilled hot tea on my only decent dress, the plain gray one I was going to wear. "Oh, how clumsy of me," she cooed, dabbing at the spreading stain with a napkin. "I suppose you'll have to find something else." "There is nothing else." Velith laughed behind her hand. Sirona just smiled, cold and satisfied. They want me to fail. To arrive at the ceremony so bedraggled and pathetic that no wolf would even glance my way. They want me trapped here forever, their silent shadow, their unpaid ghost. I won't give them that satisfaction. I have mother's dress. It's all I have, but maybe it will be enough. Tonight, I scrub the dining hall floors while they eat roasted pheasant and drink spiced wine. Velith complains that her corset is too tight. Sirona wonders aloud whether the alpha's son will notice her. Neither of them looks at me. I am invisible. I have always been invisible. But in 3 days, I will stand beneath the lunar arch with every other she-wolf in the realm. I will wear my mother's dress, and I will hope, one last, desperate time, that fate is listening. Because if I am never chosen, I die here. The dress still fits. I can hardly believe it as I slip it over my head in the pre-dawn darkness, my fingers trembling so badly I can barely work the tiny buttons at my spine. The fabric whispers against my skin like a secret, like a promise. Cool and weightless, it settles over my shoulders as though it was made for this moment. Made for me. I haven't looked in a proper mirror in years. Magdalene removed the one from my room long ago, but the small, cracked glass above the scullery basin shows enough. The pale blue brings out the silver in my eyes, makes my dark hair look less like soot and more like midnight. I'm too thin, my collarbones sharp, my face gaunt from years of scarce meals and hard labor. But in this dress, I almost look like someone worth choosing. Hope flutters in my chest, fragile and fierce as a caged bird. Tonight, everything changes. I've already planned it. I'll leave before they wake, slip out through the servants' entrance, and walk the 5 miles to the lunar court grounds. I'll arrive early, find a place in the back where I can smooth my hair and catch my breath. When the ceremony begins, I'll stand tall. I'll meet every wolf's eyes. I'll be seen. I will not be invisible anymore. My hand is on the door when I hear her voice. Well, what do we have here? I freeze. Velith stands in the doorway, still in her dressing gown, her blonde hair in silk-wrapped curls. Her eyes travel slowly down my body, and something cold slides across her perfect features. Is that a gown? Her voice drips with false surprise. Kalira, darling, where did you possibly get something like that? My throat closes. It's mine. Yours. She laughs, the sound like breaking glass. You don't own anything. Your mother. Her shout echoes through the manor. Mother, you need to see this. Magdalene arrives with Sirona trailing behind her, both of them drawn by the commotion. My stepmother takes one look at me and goes very, very still. Her smile, when it comes, is gray as winter fog. My, she says softly. Don't you look ambitious? It was my mother's, I say quickly, hating how my voice shakes. It's the only thing I have of hers. I'm required to attend the ceremony, and I thought. You thought you'd parade around like a lady? Velith cuts in, circling me like a predator. You thought some wolf might actually want you? She's getting ideas above her station, Sirona observes, examining her nails. It's unseemly. Magdalene tilts her head, studying me with those flat, calculating eyes. You make a fair point, Sirona. We can't have Kalira embarrassing this family by appearing in inappropriate attire. Her smile sharpens. Girls, perhaps you should help her fix it. The words hang in the air like an executioner's blade. Oh, mother, Velith purrs. What a wonderful idea. It happens so fast I don't have time to run. Sirona moves first, shoving me backward. I stumble, my heel catching on the hem, and crash to the floor. The stones slam into my knees, pain shooting up my legs. Please, I gasp, but Velith is already on me. Her fingers find the neckline of the dress and pull. The sound of tearing silk is the sound of my heart breaking. This is too fine for you, she hisses, ripping the delicate sleeve from the bodice. The fabric parts like water, like it's made of nothing at all. You're unclaimed garbage, Kalira. You'll die unclaimed garbage. Stop. I try to twist away, but Sirona grabs my hair, yanking my head back. Hold still, she croons. We're helping you. Velith's hands are everywhere, tearing, shredding, destroying. The bodice gives way with a sickening rip. The skirt splits along the seam. She grabs the hem and pulls hard enough that I'm dragged across the floor, ash and dirt smearing across what's left of the pale blue silk. I'm sobbing now, trying to shield the dress with my body, but there are two of them and one of me. Sirona steps on my hand, deliberately, grinding her heel down until I cry out. Velith laughs, breathless with exhilaration, and tears away another piece. My mother's dress. My only treasure. My only hope. They're killing it in front of me. That's enough, girls. Magdalene's voice cuts through the chaos, bored and satisfied. We have our own preparations to attend to. They step back, breathing hard, flushed with victory. I lie on the floor in tatters, both the dress and myself. The fabric hangs off me in ruined strips. The bodice gapes open. The skirt is shredded beyond repair. Velith drops one last piece on my chest. See you at the ceremony, sister. They leave in a rustle of silk and perfume, already discussing their jewelry choices. The door closes. I am alone. I don't know how long I lie there. Long enough for the sun to rise. Long enough for my tears to dry into salt on my cheeks. The dress is destroyed. I have nothing else to wear, nothing that isn't ash-stained rags or servant's gray. No way to be noticed. No way to be chosen. I should give up. Stay here. Accept this life. But as I push myself to sit, something hot and stubborn kindles in my chest. No. They want me to break. To surrender. To prove that I'm as worthless as they've always said. I won't. I gather the torn pieces of my mother's dress with shaking hands. The bodice is ruined, but I can tie the skirt around my waist. I can knot the sleeves together to cover myself. It's not beautiful anymore. It's not a gown, but it's still hers. Still mine. I rise to my feet, barefoot and trembling, wrapped in my mother's torn memory. The ceremony is miles away. I have no shoes, no escort, no hope of arriving like the she-wolves who matter. But I'll arrive. I push open the door and walk into the dying night, the moon still pale overhead. If I'm going to die here, it won't be on my knees. The lunar court grounds are magnificent. Even through my exhaustion, even through the pain radiating from my bare, bloodied feet, I can't help but stare. Enormous white silk pavilions billow in the evening breeze, their peaks crowned with silver and gold. Lanterns float overhead without strings or chains, suspended by magic I don't understand, casting everything in soft, ethereal light. The air smells of night-blooming jasmine and expensive wine, of power and possibility. Wolves are everywhere. The males stand in clusters, resplendent in formal attire, military dress uniforms with gold braiding, leather armor polished to a mirror shine, cloaks bearing pack insignias in rich embroidery. They're beautiful and terrifying all at once, predatory grace wrapped in civilization's trappings. The females are even more breathtaking. Gowns in every color imaginable. Crimson silk that pools like blood, emerald velvet that catches the light, gold brocade stitched with pearls. Their hair is elaborately styled, woven with flowers and jewels. They move like dancers, like queens, their laughter musical and confident. I am a smudge of ash in a painting made of stars. For a moment, I stood at the entrance, paralyzed. My makeshift dress, the torn remnants knotted and tied around my body, suddenly feels even more pathetic than it did in the manor. My bare feet are caked with dirt and blood from the long walk. My hair hangs loose and wild, uncombed, still smelling of smoke. Turn around. Leave. This was a mistake. But I've come too far. I take a breath and step into the light. The laughter starts immediately. It begins as a ripple, a few choked giggles from a group of she-wolves near the entrance, then spreads like wildfire. Heads turn. Conversations stop. Within seconds, every eye in the pavilion is on me. "What is that?" someone whispers, loud enough to carry. "Is she wearing rags? Oh gods, is that supposed to be a dress?" The mockery comes from all sides, 100 voices blending into a single wave of contempt. Fingers point. Faces twist with amusement, disgust, pity. Somehow pity is worst of all. A young wolf in a silver gown nudges her companion, not bothering to lower her voice. Did she roll here through the dirt? Maybe she's a servant who got lost. No servant would be that stupid. My face burns. My hands clench in the torn silk. Every instinct screams at me to run, to vanish back into the darkness where I belong. But I keep walking, one foot in front of the other. Eyes forward, chin up. "You are your father's daughter. You have every right to be here." I repeat it like a prayer, even as the laughter grows louder. I see them near the center of the pavilion. Magdalene stands beneath a crystal chandelier, draped in deep purple silk that makes her look regal and cold. Velith and Sirona flank her like twin jewels, one in rose gold, one in sapphire blue. All three are surrounded by admiring wolves, males vying for their attention. For just a heartbeat, I think Magdalene's eyes meet mine. Then she turns away. Deliberately. Completely. As though I'm not there at all. Velith sees me and her hand flies to her mouth, but not fast enough to hide her smile. She leans toward Sirona and whispers something. They both laugh, the sound sharp as knives. Sirona raises her glass in a mocking toast. The message is clear. You are nothing. You were always nothing. I find a space along the far wall, as far from the crowd as possible. The ceremony hasn't officially begun yet. Wolves are still mingling, sizing each other up, flirting and posturing. No one approaches me. No one even looks at me, except to sneer. I am a ghost. A stain. An embarrassment. But I'm here. The minutes crawl past. My feet throb. My throat is dry, but I don't dare approach the refreshment tables. I can already imagine the sneers, the whispers, the hands pulling glasses away before I can touch them. Then the alpha wolves begin to move through the crowd. These are the ones who matter. High-ranking males from powerful packs, their dominance written in every movement. They're here to find mates worthy of their status, she-wolves who can stand beside them, bear strong airs, represent their bloodlines. They drift past me like I'm furniture. One meets my eyes for half a second, and his lip curls in disgust before he turns away. Another laughs when his companion points at me. Wolfless filth. I hear him mutter. Why do they even let them in? A third, drunk, swaying, picks up a glass of wine and hurls it. The liquid hits me across the chest, deep red spreading across the pale blue, like a wound. The glass shatters at my feet. Oops, he slurs, grinning. Didn't see you there, trash. His friends roar with laughter. I stand frozen, wine dripping down my ruined dress, my eyes burning with tears I refuse to shed. Leave. Just leave. This was always going to end this way. My legs tremble. I'm about to turn, about to flee, when the entire pavilion goes silent. Not gradually. Instantly. As though someone has stolen the air itself. Every head turns toward the main entrance. Conversations die mid-word. Even the drunk who threw the wine straightens, his face going pale. I feel it before I see it.
Power.
Raw, undeniable, crushing power that makes my knees want to buckle. And then he enters. He is nothing like the other wolves. King Aaron Valorand doesn't walk, he commands space. The crowd parts before him like water before a blade, wolves of all ranks dropping their eyes in automatic deference. He's tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in black and silver that seems to drink in the floating lantern light. His presence is a physical thing, pressing against my chest, making it hard to breathe. But it's his eyes that pin me in place. Gold. Pure molten gold, fixed on me with an intensity that makes the rest of the pavilion disappear.
He's looking at me.
The king of the Northern Realm, the most powerful alpha in 5 generations, is looking at me. It has to be a mistake. He must be looking past me, at someone behind me, someone worthy of that devastating attention. But there's nothing behind me except the wall. The silence stretches unbearable. Then he moves. Down the stairs. Across the pavilion floor. Straight toward me. Every wolf in his path melts aside. I hear Violetha's sharp intake of breath. See Magdalene's face go white with shock. The drunk who threw wine at me stumbles backward, suddenly terrified. King Aaron doesn't spare any of them a glance. He stops 3 feet away. Up close, he's even more overwhelming. Power radiates from him in waves, not just authority, but something deeper, something primal that makes every instinct I have scream both danger and submit. His face is all hard angles and aristocratic beauty, dark hair falling across his forehead, a scar cutting through one eyebrow. He's looking at me like I'm the only person in the world. "You came," he says quietly. His voice is low, rough velvet that seems to vibrate through my bones. I can't speak, can't move, can't process what's happening. Around us, whispers erupt like wildfire. Why is he looking at her? She's nobody, she's wearing rags. What is he doing? King Aaron's jaw tightens. His eyes don't leave mine, but I feel his displeasure ripple outward, sharp enough to silence the nearest voices. Then, with deliberate slowness, he reaches up and unfastens his mantle. The collective gasp is audible. The royal mantle is legend. Silver fabric woven with threads of actual moonlight, a gift from the moon goddess herself to the first Valorand king. It's a symbol of absolute authority, of divine right, of power that cannot be challenged. Only the ruling monarch may wear it. Only the monarch or someone they claim under their personal protection. No. I breathe, barely a whisper. You can't. But he's already lifting it from his shoulders. The fabric seems alive, shimmering even in stillness, impossibly light and impossibly heavy all at once. Ancient magic hums through it, raising the hair on my arms. King Aaron steps closer. I'm drowning in wine and ash, barefoot and bleeding, wrapped in torn silk that was ruined to mock me. I am everything he is not, powerless, worthless, beneath notice. But his hands are gentle as he drapes the mantle across my shoulders. The weight settles over me like a claim.
Like a vow.
The silver fabric pools at my feet, far too long for my small frame, glowing against the wine-stained rags. It's warm where it touches my skin, almost alive, and I swear I feel something, a pulse, a recognition, shiver through me. King Aaron fastens it at my throat with a royal clasp, a crescent moon in white gold. His fingers brush my collarbone, and even that slight contact sends electricity racing down my spine. He steps back, and when he turns to face the crowd, his voice carries to every corner of the pavilion. No one here will shame what the moon has chosen. The words land like thunderclaps. Wolves freeze. Faces drain of color. I see the drunk who threw wine drop to his knees, trembling. Magdalene looks like she might be sick. Violetha's perfect face has gone rigid with fury and disbelief. Sirona's mouth hangs open in shock. She stands under my protection. King Aaron continues, his voice cold enough to frost the air. Any insult to her is an insult to the crown. Any harm done to her will be answered by me. The threat is unmistakable. Wolves begin dropping into bows, into submission, fear and confusion warring on their faces. They don't understand. How could they? Neither do I. What the moon has chosen. The words echo in my head, but they don't make sense. Can't make sense. The moon doesn't choose people like me. Fate doesn't notice girls who sleep in ashes. The pavilion tilts. Or maybe I'm tilting. The edges of my vision are going dark, sparkled with stars that shouldn't be there. My legs feel distant, disconnected. Easy, King Aaron murmurs, and suddenly his arm is around my waist, solid and sure. I've got you. I don't. My voice sounds far away. I don't understand. You will. His other hand comes up to cup my face, tilting my chin so I meet those impossible gold eyes. There's something in them I can't name. Recognition, possession, wonder. I promise you will. The darkness rushes in. My knees buckle, and the last thing I feel is his arms catching me, lifting me against his chest as though I weigh nothing at all. The royal mantle cocoons me in silver light and ancient magic. I hear gasps, shocked voices, Velitha's strangled sound of rage. And beneath it all, steady as a heartbeat, King Aaron's voice. Clear the hall. The ceremony is over. Then nothing. When the king of the northern realm carries his unconscious, wine-stained, rag-wrapped prize from the lunar court pavilion, wrapped in the mantle that hasn't touched another soul in 300 years, every wolf present knows they've witnessed something that will reshape the realm. They just don't know if it's a blessing or a catastrophe. Behind them, Magdalene's carefully constructed world begins to crumble. And in the king's arms, Kalira dreams of gold eyes and impossible promises, unaware that her life has just become infinitely more complicated and infinitely more dangerous. I wake to silk. Not the rough, ash-stained palette I've known for years, but sheets so soft they feel like water against my skin. The bed beneath me is enormous, piled with pillows in silver and white. Gauzy curtains hang from posts carved to look like birch trees, their delicate leaves etched in such detail I could count the veins. For a confused moment, I think I'm dreaming. Then memory crashes back. The ceremony, the laughter, the wine staining my ruined dress. Gold eyes. A silver mantle impossibly heavy and impossibly light. Strong arms catching me as the world went dark. King Aaron. I sit up too quickly, and the room spins. My hands clutch at the sheets, silk, definitely silk, finer than anything I've ever touched, as I try to orient myself. The chamber is vast. Morning light streams through floor-to-ceiling windows draped in more silver fabric. The walls are pale stone veined with what looks like actual silver, gleaming softly. A fireplace large enough to stand and dominates one wall, cold now but laid with wood that smells of cedar. Furniture that belongs in a palace, carved chairs, an ornate vanity, a wardrobe of dark wood inlaid with mother-of-pearl. This isn't a guest room. This is a royal chamber. Panic flutters in my chest. I throw back the covers and freeze. I'm wearing a nightgown. Soft white linen. Modest but clearly expensive. Nothing like the rags I arrived in. Someone undressed me. Bathed me. My skin smells of lavender and my hair, falling loose around my shoulders, is clean for the first time in weeks. My ruined dress is gone. So is the royal mantle. So is any proof that last night actually happened. The door opens. I yelp and yank the covers back up, my heart hammering. But it's not a servant. Not a lady-in-waiting. It's him. King Aaron fills the doorway, somehow even more overwhelming in the morning light. He's dressed more simply than last night. Dark trousers, a white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows, no crown or formal regalia. But the power radiating from him is unchanged, an almost visible presence that makes the air feel charged. Those gold eyes find mine, and something in his expression softens. "You're awake," he says quietly.
Good.
I was beginning to worry. How long? My voice comes out hoarse. I clear my throat and try again. How long was I unconscious? 12 hours. He steps inside, closing the door behind him. The click of the latch feels intimate somehow, dangerous. The physician said it was exhaustion, dehydration, and shock. Your feet were badly cut. You walked 5 miles barefoot. He says it without judgment, but heat floods my face anyway. I didn't have shoes, I whisper. I know. He crosses the room with that predatory grace, each movement economical and controlled. When he reaches the side of the bed, he doesn't tower over me. Instead, he lowers himself into the chair beside it, bringing his eyes closer to level with mine. I know everything, Kalira. My name in his voice does something strange to my pulse. I don't understand. I manage. Last night the mantle, why would you? The words tangle. I force them out. I'm nobody. I'm less than nobody. I don't even have a wolf. Something flickers in his expression. Not pity. Something deeper, almost like pain. You're not nobody, he says, and his voice has gone rough. You've never been nobody. Then what am I? The question breaks out of me, desperate. Why did you claim me in front of everyone? They all think I bewitched you, that I used dark magic or. Let them think what they want. His hand moves, resting on the bed near mine. Not touching, but close enough that I feel the heat of his skin. Their opinions don't change what you are. And what is that? He's quiet for a long moment, studying my face with an intensity that makes me want to look away. I don't. You'll understand soon, he finally says. But first, you need to be strong enough to hear it. His hand shifts, and suddenly his fingers are brushing mine. Just the lightest contact, his rough calluses against my knuckles. The jolt that goes through me is electric. I gasp softly, and his eyes darken. You feel it too, he murmurs. Not a question. I do. Some kind of pull, like invisible threads connecting us, tugging insistently beneath my ribs. It's terrifying and thrilling, and completely impossible. I don't understand any of this, I whisper. I know. His thumb strokes across my knuckles, gentle as a breath. But I promise you, Kalira, I will protect you, no matter what comes. The sincerity in his voice makes my throat tight. Before I can respond, a sharp knock shatters the moment. Aaron's expression shudders. His hand withdraws, leaving my skin cold. Enter. A tall woman in severe gray robes sweeps in, her silver hair pulled back in a tight bun. Her eyes are ice blue and assessing as they rake over me. Your Majesty, she says crisply. The council is demanding an audience. They're displeased. They can wait. Aaron's voice has gone hard. With respect, sire, they cannot. Not for this. She glances at me, and I see the calculation in her gaze. They're calling for tests. Aaron goes very still. What kind of tests? The usual protocols for unexpected claimants. Blood analysis, heritage verification, curse detection. Each word is a small blade. They want proof she hasn't compromised you through magical means. Humiliation burns through me. Of course they do. Of course they think the only way someone like me could attract the king's attention is through dark magic. Fine. Aaron's voice is cold enough to frost glass. Run your tests, Magistra Ellen. But you will treat her with respect due to someone under royal protection. Is that clear? The woman, Magistra Ellen, inclines her head. Perfectly, Your Majesty. The testing chamber is deep in the palace, all white stone and silver instruments that hum with magic I don't understand. I sit in a chair that feels uncomfortably like a throne while 3 robed figures draw my blood, murmur incantations, wave crystals over my skin that pulse with eerie light. Aaron insisted on being present. He stands against the wall, arms crossed, watching everything with those predatory gold eyes. His presence is the only thing keeping me from bolting. Fascinating, one of the mages mutters, peering at a vial of my blood held up to the light. The liquid inside has separated into layers, red at the bottom, but something else floating on top. Something that glimmers silver. What is it? Magistra Ellen demands. The mage's hands tremble slightly. Linaris energy. Dormant, but unmistakable. The room goes silent. That's impossible, Another mage breathes. The Linares bloodline died out generations ago. Everyone knows. Apparently not everyone. Magistra Ellen cuts in. Her eyes snap to me, sharp as scalpels. Who were your parents, girl? My father was Marcus Ashenvale, I say quietly. My mother? I don't know. She disappeared when I was young. Her name?
Alara.
Just Alara. Magistra Ellen and the mages exchange loaded glances. What does it mean? I ask, though part of me dreads the answer. What's Linares energy? No one answers. But when I look at Aaron, his expression is careful. Too careful. He already knew. They move me to a private chamber, smaller than the testing room, but no less intimidating. Just me, Aaron, and Magistra Ellen. The air feels heavy with secrets about to break open. Sit, Ellen commands, though her tone has shifted. Not quite respectful, but no longer dismissive either. I sink into the offered chair. Aaron remains standing, a silent sentinel at my back. I can feel him there, solid and steady, and it's the only thing keeping me grounded. Magistra Ellen places the vial of my blood on the table between us. In the dim light, the silver layer seems to pulse with its own luminescence. Do you know what the Linares bloodline was? She asks. I shake my head mutely. They were the first wolves, Aaron says quietly from behind me. Born directly from the moon goddess's blessing. Stronger, faster, more connected to lunar magic than any bloodline since. They could shift under any moon phase, not just the full. Their alphas could communicate across vast distances, sense pack bonds like physical threads. Some could even touch minds. They were also dangerous, Ellen adds coldly. Their power made them targets. Rival packs hunted them, envied them, feared them. 300 years ago, the last known Linares stronghold was destroyed. Every member was killed. Her ice-blue eyes pierce me. Or so we believed. My hands clench in my lap. But I don't have any power. I don't even have a wolf. Dormant, Ellen corrects. Your energy signature is suppressed, buried so deep we almost missed it. That level of suppression doesn't happen naturally. Someone did this to you. Deliberately. Cold spreads through my chest.
Who? We're working on that.
But I have a theory. She leans forward. Tell me everything you remember about your mother. Everything. I will try. But there's so little, just fragments, sensations, the ghost of a lullaby I can't quite remember. She disappeared when I was 5. My father never spoke of her after. It was like she evaporated. And your stepmother, Magdalene. When did she enter your life? Less than a year later. The pieces click together even as I speak them aloud, each one sharp as broken glass. She showed up with her daughters. Mourning black, sad story about losing her husband. My father was so lost without my mother. I trail off, seeing it now with new eyes. Magdalene arrived too quickly. Knew too much. Took over too smoothly. She knew, I whisper. She knew what I was. Ellen nods grimly. Magdalene Corvain served in the Linares court before its fall. She was a lady-in-waiting to the High Luna, your grandmother, if my research is correct. The world tilts. Your mother, Aaron says softly, and I twist in my chair to look at him. His expression is gentle but grave. Her name wasn't just Alara. It was Alara Linares, the last surviving heir of the bloodline.
No.
The denial is automatic. That's impossible. She was just my mother. She sang to me, braided my hair, told me stories about stars. She hid. Ellen interrupts. Took a false name, married a minor lord far from court, had a child, and tried to live quietly. But someone found her. Her voice softens, just slightly. Magdalene found her. The pieces fall into terrible alignment. She killed her. I breathe. Magdalene killed my mother. We believe she betrayed your mother's location to those who still hunted the Linares line, Ellen confirms. In the chaos that followed, Magdalene took you, raised you as a servant, kept you weak and powerless and broken so you'd never manifest. Her lips thin. She kept you alive as insurance. Linares blood has value on the black market, but made certain you'd never become a threat. I can't breathe.
Can't process.
Everything I thought I knew is ash. The suppression can be broken, Aaron says, and suddenly he's kneeling beside my chair, his hand covering mine. The contact grounds me, pulls me back from the edge of panic. We can unlock what was stolen from you. But Kalira, his gold eyes search mine. Once we do, everything changes. You won't just be a girl the king claimed. You'll be the last Linares heir. And there are those who will want you dead for it. They give me an hour to absorb it. To sit in a garden courtyard where silver flowers bloom under enchanted moonlight, trying to reconcile the girl who scrubbed floors with ashes in her hair with whatever I'm supposed to be now. Linares.
Heir.
Bloodline of the moon. It feels like a story about someone else. Aaron finds me there, sitting on a marble bench, staring at nothing. He doesn't speak at first, just settles beside me, close enough that our shoulders almost touch. The silence is surprisingly comfortable. How long have you known? I finally ask. Known for certain? Since the blood test. He's quiet for a moment. Suspected? Much longer. I turn to look at him. What do you mean? Something vulnerable crosses his face, an expression I wouldn't have thought possible on someone so powerful. I've dreamed of you, he admits quietly. For months. You're sent first, ash and lavender, grief and stubborn hope. Then your voice, your tears. His hand lifts, hesitating, then brushes a strand of hair from my face. Your agony. My breath catches. I didn't know who you were. Didn't know where to find you. Just fragments. A girl suffering somewhere in my territory, and my wolf. He stops, jaw tight. My wolf was going mad, demanding I find you, protect you, claim you. But you didn't know me, I whisper.
No.
His thumb traces my cheekbone, achingly gentle. But I knew you were mine. The moment I saw you in that pavilion, barely standing, wrapped in ruined silk and defiance. His voice roughens. I knew. My wolf knew. You were what we'd been searching for. The connection between us pulls taut, that invisible thread I felt before now blazing bright. My heart hammers against my ribs. The bond. I breathe. Is this, are we? Fated mates, he confirms. Chosen by the moon herself. The words should terrify me. Instead, they feel like coming home. But before I can respond, the garden door slams open. A man in council robes stands there, face red with fury. Your Majesty, you cannot continue this madness. The prophecy. I'm aware of the prophecy, Counselor Theron, Aaron says coldly, rising to his feet. His hand stays protectively on my shoulder. Then you know what it says. Theron's voice shakes. The Luna chosen in bloodshed will either save or end a kingdom. She is Linares, the very bloodline that brought ruin before. You risk everything. I risk nothing. Aaron's power fills the garden, making the air crackle. She is my mate, my Luna, and she will stand beside me regardless of what you or the council fears. The other packs will never accept her. They'll call it a return to the old wars, a Linares seizing power through. Enough. The command in Aaron's voice drops Theron to his knees. When the king speaks again, it's deadly quiet. You will show my Luna respect, or you will lose your position. Choose. Theron's face contorts with rage and fear, but he bows his head. Yes, your Majesty. He retreats, but the hatred in his eyes is unmistakable. When we're alone again, I'm shaking. They'll never accept me, I whisper. The prophecy, my bloodline, Aaron. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm too dangerous. Stop. He turns me to face him, hands framing my face. Listen to me, Kalira. I have waited my entire life for you. I am not giving you up because frightened old wolves cling to ancient fears. But the prophecy says you'll save or end a kingdom. A fierce smile curves his mouth. I choose to believe you'll save it. Save me. His certainty is intoxicating, terrifying, impossible to resist. I don't know how to be what you need, I confess. Then we'll learn together. He leans down, and for one breathless moment, I think he might kiss me. But he stops, forehead resting against mine, breathing me in. Together, he repeats softly. In the shadows beyond the garden, 3 figures watch. Magdalene's expression is carved from ice. The Linares sprat should have stayed broken. She is the king's protection now, Velith hisses. We can't just. Yes, we can. Sirona's smile is vicious. Accidents happen, even in palaces. Magdalene's hand closes around a vial of dark liquid, stolen from the same black market dealers she once sold Linares blood to. The prophecy says she'll save or end a kingdom, she murmurs. We simply need to ensure it's the latter. Behind them, deeper in shadow, a hooded figure slips away. The real game has only just begun. The palace moon garden becomes our refuge. Every night after the council meetings that leave Aaron tense and cold-eyed, we walk among the silver flowers that bloom only under moonlight. Lunar jasmine releases its intoxicating perfume. Starbell vines chime softly in the breeze. Here, away from the whispers and hostile stares, we can simply be. Tell me something true, Aaron says, our 5th night walking these paths. His hand finds mine in the darkness, fingers intertwining like it's the most natural thing in the world. Something true. I glance up at him. The moon silves his dark hair, making his gold eyes almost luminous. He's breathtaking, and the fact that he chooses to spend these hours with me still feels like a dream. Something no one else knows. His thumb strokes across my knuckles, sending familiar sparks racing up my arm. Something just for me. I think about it as we walk, our footsteps synchronized. I used to sneak into my father's library at night, I finally admit, before Magdalene locked it away. I'd read by candlelight until dawn, fairy tales, histories, legends. I wanted to believe the world was bigger than that manor, that I was meant for more than ashes. His hand tightens on mine. You are. Your turn, I say softly. Something true. He's quiet for so long I think he won't answer. Then, I was afraid I'd never find you, that the dreams would drive me mad, that I'd search forever for someone who didn't exist. He stops walking, turns to face me fully. And when I finally saw you in that pavilion, broken and defiant and so goddamned brave, I was terrified. Terrified. I breathe. Of what? That I wouldn't be enough. That I couldn't protect you from what was coming. His free hand lifts to cup my face, achingly gentle. That I'd fail you the way everyone else has. The vulnerability in his voice cracks something open in my chest. You haven't failed me, I whisper. You saved me, Aaron. You're still saving me. Kalira. Whatever he was going to say dies as I rise on my toes and kiss him. It's clumsy, inexperienced. I've never kissed anyone before. But the moment our lips touch, everything else disappears. There's just his sharp intake of breath, the way his hand slides into my hair, how he angles my head and kisses me back with a hunger that makes my knees weak. The mate bond ignites. I gasp against his mouth as power surges through me, silver light crackling between us like lightning. His wolf is right there, just beneath his skin, snarling mine while something deep in my chest answers yes, even though I still don't have a wolf of my own. Or do I? For just a moment, I feel her, buried deep, wrapped in chains of old magic, but alive. Clawing to reach him, to complete this bond. Aaron pulls back with a groan, breathing hard, forehead pressed to mine. Gods, Kalira, you're going to destroy me. Is that a complaint? My voice comes out breathless, teasing. His laugh is rough, delighted. Never. The next 2 weeks are the happiest of my life. Aaron teaches me to navigate palace politics, standing beside me in council meetings even when the advisors glare. Magistra Ellen begins training me in Linares history, unlocking fragments of my heritage. A seamstress creates a wardrobe fit for Aluna, though I insist on simpler designs, uncomfortable with too much luxury after so many years of rags. I'm healing. slowly, carefully, learning to believe I might actually deserve this. Aaron is patient, protective, possessive in ways that should frighten me, but don't. He growls when males look at me too long, keeps me close during formal dinners, steals kisses in shadowed corridors that leave us both wanting more. The king is besotted. I hear a lady-in-waiting whisper, completely blinded by a low-born servant. Her companion sneers. It's disgraceful. The council should intervene. I learn to ignore them, learn to lift my chin, and walk past the contempt. But I should have paid more attention. The eclipse is considered sacred, a night when the barriers between worlds thin, when mate bonds can be fully sealed. Aaron has been planning something special, though he won't tell me what. Trust me, is all he'll say, eyes glinting with anticipation. So, when a note arrives that afternoon, meet me in the East Garden at moonrise. Wear something beautiful. I don't question it. I choose a gown of deep midnight blue that the seamstress swears brings out my eyes. Pin my dark hair up with silver combs Aaron gifted me. My reflection in the mirror shows a stranger, someone elegant, cared for, loved. Almost like a real Luna, I think, and the old poisonous voice that sounds like Magdalene whispers. Almost. But not quite. I silence it and head to the East Garden. The path is darker than usual. Several of the enchanted lanterns have gone out, leaving pools of shadow. Strange, the palace magic usually maintains them perfectly. Aaron, I call softly, stepping through the garden gate. No answer. The flowers here are different. Nightshade and morning bells, plants that thrive in darkness. The air smells wrong, thick with something acrid that makes my eyes water. Aaron, I try again louder. A sound behind me. I whirl and see the masks. 3 wolves, faces hidden behind silver death masks, moving with predatory silence. I stumble backward, but there are more behind me. Surrounding me. Guards. I scream. Guards. One of them laughs, a feminine sound that makes ice slide down my spine. Scream all you want. Velith's voice purrs from behind a mask. No one's coming. We made sure of it. Sister, you talk too much, Serona chides, and gods, they're both here. Both part of this. I run. Don't think, just run, hiking up my skirts and sprinting for the gate. But they're faster. True wolves while I'm still suppressed, still broken. Hands grab me. I fight, screaming, clawing, but there are too many. Something pricks my neck. Sharp, burning. Sleep, little Linares, an unfamiliar male voice croons. You have an appointment to keep. The drug hits my system like a hammer. The world blurs, tilts. I see Velith pull off her mask, her beautiful face twisted with satisfaction. This is for stealing what should have been mine, she hisses. Then darkness swallows me whole. I woke up cold. Stone beneath me, so icy it burns through the thin fabric of my gown. My wrists and ankles are bound with something that hums with dark magic, suppressing even the possibility of struggle. When I try to move, pain shoots through my limbs.
Easy.
Magdalene's voice echoes. You'll only hurt yourself. My vision clears slowly. I'm lying on an altar of pale moonstone, ancient and cracked with age. Runes are carved into its surface, glowing a sickly green. We're in some kind of underground chamber, rough stone walls, a ceiling so high it disappears into shadow. And surrounding the altar, 13 hooded figures in a circle, chanting in a language that makes my bones ache. Magdalene stands at my feet, no longer hiding behind false gentility. Her face is hard, triumphant. Did you really think you'd keep him? She asks conversationally. That you'd play Luna and live happily ever after? Where? My voice cracks. Where is Aaron? Occupied. The council called an emergency session, a supposed threat to the northern border. They'll keep him busy for hours. Her smile is vicious. More than enough time. Time for what? To sever destiny, of course. She gestures to the altar, the runes, the chanting figures. This is an old ritual. Very old. It will break the mate bond before it can fully form, rip the Linares legacy from your blood, and leave you Empty. She leans close, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. Just a broken little servant girl again. No wolf. No power. No king. Aaron will forget you like a bad dream, and I will finally be free of the debt I owe your wretched bloodline. Terror claws at my throat. You can't. The bond is sacred. Nothing is sacred that can't be bought or broken. Magdalene straightens. Begin. The chanting intensifies. The runes flare brighter. And I feel it, something reaching into my chest with icy fingers, searching for the golden thread that connects me to Aaron. I scream. Not in pain yet, but in fury and desperate hope, screaming for the mate I've only just found, for the bond that makes me whole. Aaron. The bond flares in response, brilliant and burning. And somewhere in the palace above, a king stops mid-sentence, his wolf howling in sudden, primal rage. She's in danger. Aaron. The bond doesn't whisper, it screams. One moment I'm listening to Counselor Theron drone about supply routes, the next I'm doubled over as agony rips through my chest. Not my pain, hers. Terror and fury blazing down the mate thread like wildfire. Your Majesty? Someone asks, but their voice is distant, irrelevant. Kalira. My wolf surges forward with a violence that makes my vision go red. Every instinct I have is howling the same thing. Mate in danger.
Find. Protect. Kill.
Where is she? My voice comes out wrong. Half human, half growl. The council members recoil. Where is my mate? Sire. She's in her chambers, surely. I'm already moving, slamming through the council room doors hard enough to crack the frame. Guards scramble out of my way as I take the corridors at a run, following the bond like a compass pointing true north. Not her chambers.
Down.
Below the palace. The bond pulls me toward the old temple ruins beneath the eastern wing, sections so ancient they predate the current palace, places we sealed off centuries ago because the magic there had gone sour and strange. How did they get her down there? How long has this been planned? I shift mid-stride, my wolf ripping free in an explosion of power that shreds my clothes. On four legs I'm faster, stronger, driven by a rage so pure it burns away everything except one absolute truth. They took what's mine. They will pay in blood. Kalira. The ritual is tearing me apart. The runes glow brighter with each chanted word, and invisible hooks sink into my soul, pulling, ripping at the golden thread that connects me to Aaron. It feels like someone is flaying me from the inside out. I scream until my throat is raw. Stop fighting, Magdalene commands, watching with clinical detachment. You're only making it hurt worse. Go to hell. I gasp out between waves of agony. One of the hooded figures steps closer to the altar, raising a curved blade that gleams black in the sickly light. Obsidian, etched with more of those horrible runes. The final cut, the figure intones, male voice, vaguely familiar. Severing the bond requires blood sacrifice. Her blood, spilled on consecrated stone, will complete the breaking.
No. No.
I thrash against the bindings, but the dark magic holds firm. The blade rises higher, positioned over my heart. Magdalene smiles. Do it. The blade begins its descent, and the entire chamber explodes. The eastern wall detonates inward in a shower of stone and ancient mortar. A massive black wolf barrels through the opening, and the power radiating from him is apocalyptic. His eyes burn pure gold, lit from within by fury that makes the air itself crackle. Aaron. He's enormous in wolf form, easily twice the size of a normal alpha, all muscle and lethal grace and absolute murderous intent. His snarl shakes dust from the ceiling. The hooded figures scatter. Magdalene stumbles backward, her composure finally cracking. Kill it, she shrieks. Kill the beast. 3 of the larger figures shift, becoming wolves themselves. They're big, well-trained, coordinated. They don't stand a chance. Aaron moves like death itself. The first wolf lunges for his throat. He catches it midair, jaws closing around its neck with a crunch that makes me flinch. Doesn't even slow down. Just throws the body aside and launches at the second. Blood sprays across ancient stone. The third tries to flee. Aaron runs it down in 3 strides, claws ripping through flesh like paper. The remaining hooded figures bolt for the exits. Aaron lets them go. They're not his priority. His burning gold eyes lock onto the one standing over me, the one still holding the obsidian blade. The figure drops the knife and raises both hands. Your Majesty, please, I was coerced, I didn't. Aaron's growl is a promise of violence. The figure runs. Then there's just Magdalene, backed against the far wall, all her careful plans crumbling around her. You can't kill me, she says, but her voice shakes. I'm nobility. There are laws, protocols. Aaron shifts. The transformation is brutal, faster than should be possible. One moment he's wolf, the next he's standing there in human form, naked, covered in blood that isn't his, eyes still burning with inhuman rage. You touched my mate, he says quietly. Each word is carved from ice and fury. There is no law that will save you. She's Linares. Magdalene screams, hysteria finally breaking through. She'll destroy everything. The prophecy. The prophecy says she'll save or end a kingdom. Aaron takes a step forward. Magdalene presses harder against the wall, as if she could disappear into it. You tried to end her. There's a difference. His hand shoots out, wrapping around her throat. Not squeezing, not yet, but the threat is unmistakable. Aaron. My voice comes out hoarse, broken. Please. He doesn't look at me. Can't seem to tear his eyes away from the woman who orchestrated this. She tried to sever our bond. Destroy your heritage. Kill you. I know. I'm shaking so hard the altar stone rattles beneath me. But I need you. Please. I need you here. For a long moment, he doesn't move. Then, slowly, his hand opens. Magdalene collapses, gasping. You will be tried for treason, Aaron says coldly. For conspiracy to harm the Luna. For the murder of Alara Linares. Magdalene's head snaps up, eyes wide. Yes, I know about that too. And when you're found guilty, and you will be, your execution will be public. He turns away from her, dismissing her like the worthless thing she is, and finally comes to me. His hands are gentle as they touch the bindings, so different from the violence seconds ago. Dark magic resists him, but he's stronger. The bonds crack, dissolve, and suddenly I can move. I throw myself at him. He catches me, arms wrapping around me so tight I can barely breathe, and I don't care. I bury my face in his neck, shaking with reaction and relief and leftover terror. I've got you, he murmurs against my hair. I've got you, love. You're safe. The bond, I gasp out. They were trying to break it. I felt it tearing. It held. His hand slides into my hair, cradling my head. You held. So strong, Kalira. So brave. I'm crying now, great shuddering sobs I can't control. He just holds me tighter, murmuring reassurances, pressing kisses to my temple, my hair, wherever he can reach. Behind us, I hear guards finally arriving. Shouted orders. Someone throwing a cloak over Aaron's shoulders. Magdalene being dragged away in chains, still screaming about prophecies and doom. I don't care about any of it. The others, I manage eventually. Velith and Serona. They helped. They were wearing masks, but I heard their voices. They'll be found. His voice goes hard again. Everyone involved will answer for this. He pulls back just enough to look at me, and what I see in his eyes steals my breath. Not just rage or relief, but something deeper. Devastating. When I felt you in danger, he says roughly, when I thought I might lose you before we even had a chance. He stops, jaw clenched, and I see his hands trembling where they cup my face. You're not losing me, I whisper fiercely. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Promise me. The vulnerability in his voice breaks, something inside me. Promise me, Kalira. I promise. He kisses me then, desperate and claiming and tender all at once. The mate bond surges between us, stronger than before, as if being tested has only made it more resilient. When we finally break apart, both breathing hard, He rests his forehead against mine. I'm unlocking your wolf, he says quietly. Tonight. No more waiting. You need to be able to protect yourself. The suppression magic. Magistra Ellen said it could take months to unravel safely. I don't care. His eyes blaze. I won't lose you, because we were too cautious. Your wolf wants free. I can feel her clawing at the bonds. We're letting her out. The determination in his voice leaves no room for argument. And truthfully, I don't want to argue. I want to be strong. I want to be able to stand beside him as an equal, not someone who needs constant protection. I want my wolf. Okay, I breathe. Okay, let's do it. They carry me from the ruins wrapped in Aaron's cloak, his arms secure around me. The palace is in chaos, guards running everywhere, council members shouting questions, servants whispering frantically. Aaron ignores all of it, carrying me straight to his private chambers. Not mine. His. You're staying with me from now on, he says, brooking no argument. Where I can protect you. I should probably protest about propriety, about what people will say. I don't. I just burrow closer, breathing in his scent, pine and winter, and something uniquely him, and let myself feel safe for the first time since waking on that altar. Magistra Ellen is already waiting, along with 2 other mages I recognize from my earlier testing. They've set up a ritual circle in Aaron's sitting room, but this one is different. Silver runes instead of green herbs that smell clean and sharp rather than sickly sweet. This will hurt, Ellen warns as Aaron sets me gently in the circle center. The suppression has been in place for over 15 years, tearing it away all at once. She trails off meaningfully. I can handle pain, I say, though my voice shakes slightly. Aaron kneels beside me, taking my hand. I'll be right here. Your Majesty, the magical backlash could be dangerous for anyone too close. I will
Be right
here. Ellen sighs, but doesn't argue further. She and the other mages take positions around the circle, beginning to chant. This magic feels different. Where the ritual in the ruins was violating, invasive, this is welcoming. Like coming home. The silver runes warm under me, and I feel them searching not for the mate bond, but for something else. Something buried deep. My wolf. She stirs. After so many years of silence, I feel her wake. And she is furious. The pain hits like lightning, every nerve ending igniting as the suppression magic begins to crack. I scream, back arching, and Aaron's hand tightens on mine. Stay with me, he commands. Kalira, stay with me. Let her through. The wolf claws her way up through layers of imposed sleep and stolen power. She's rage and moonlight, wild and untamed, and she wants out. The suppression shatters. Silver light explodes from my body, so bright the mages have to shield their eyes. Power floods my system. Linaris' legacy finally unleashed, months of dreams and prophecy made real. And my wolf, oh gods, my wolf. She throws her head back and howls. The sound echoes through the palace, primal and triumphant. Every wolf in the territory will have heard it, felt it in their bones. The last Linaris has awakened. When the light finally fades, I'm gasping, shaking, overwhelmed. But I can feel her now, truly feel her, a presence in my mind as solid and real as my own thoughts. Finally, she rumbles. Took you long enough. I laugh, half hysterical, half delighted. Aaron pulls me against him, and I feel his wolf rise to meet mine. They recognize each other, call to each other, 2 halves of an incomplete whole. Hello, Luna, he murmurs, and there's pride in his voice. Wonder. I look up at him, through tears I don't remember shedding. I can feel her. Aaron, I can feel her. I know love. He kisses my forehead, my cheeks, the corner of my mouth. She's beautiful. You're both beautiful. My wolf preens at his praise. Then, suddenly aggressive, ours. Our mate. Any who threaten him die. I would laugh, except I completely agree. Magistra Ellen clears her throat. The awakening is complete, but she'll need training. Linaris wolves are more powerful than standard shifters. Without proper control, She could accidentally hurt someone. We'll train, Aaron says. Together. He helps me to my feet, steady when I'm still shaking with reaction and new power. I feel different, stronger, more complete. Like I've been walking around missing a limb my entire life, and just now got it back. The council will convene tomorrow, Ellen continues. There will be questions. Accusations. Some will call for her removal despite everything. Let them try. Aaron's arm slides around my waist, possessive and protective. She's my mate, my Luna, and now she has the power to prove it. Later, when the mages have gone, and it's just us in his chambers, Aaron runs me a bath in his enormous copper tub, adds oils that smell of lavender and moonflower, helps me out of my ruined gown with gentle hands. There's nothing sexual in it, just care, tenderness. He washes the ritual residue from my hair, careful of the bruises blooming on my wrists from the bindings. Lets me lean back against his chest and simply breathe. They'll come for me again, I say quietly. Magdalene wasn't working alone. There are others who fear what I represent. I know. His lips brush my temple. But now you can fight back. My wolf stirs in agreement, still riding high on her freedom. Aaron. I turn my head to look at him. The prophecy. About saving or ending a kingdom. What if I'm the threat everyone thinks I am? He's quiet for a moment, considering. Then, prophecies are tricky things. They tell you what might happen, not what must. You have a choice, Kalira. We both do. And you choose me? Even now, part of me can't quite believe it. Even knowing the risk? Especially knowing the risk. He turns me in the water to face him fully, hands framing my face. I choose you. Every time. In every lifetime. The mate bond flares between us, golden and unbreakable. And when he kisses me, I taste the promise in it.
The vow.
Together. No matter what comes. Outside, storm clouds gather over the palace. In the dungeons below, Magdalene screams for lawyers and mercy she doesn't deserve. And in the shadows of the city, Velith and Sirona flee toward allies who trade in darker magic still. The real war is only beginning. But for this moment, wrapped in my mate's arms, I let myself believe we might actually survive it. The coronation takes place under the full moon. Every pack in the realm has sent representatives, alphas and their mates, elders wrapped in ceremonial robes, warriors in polished armor. The lunar court grounds are transformed, no longer the site of my humiliation, but something sacred. Thousands of wolves gather in concentric circles around the raised dais where Aaron waits. Where we wait. I stand beside him in a gown that took 3 weeks to create. The seamstresses wanted silk and jewels, something befitting a Luna queen. I asked for something else. The pale blue fabric of my mother's dress, what remained after Velith and Sirona tore it apart, has been carefully preserved. Each ruined piece stitched back together with silver thread that gleams like starlight. The tears are visible, deliberate. The wine stains have been left intact. Over it, they layered gossamer silk in deepest midnight, embroidered with constellations. The two dresses merge, destruction and rebirth woven together into something entirely new. And over my shoulders, Aaron's royal mantle, the one he draped over me that first night. You're sure about this? Aaron murmurs as the ceremony begins. His hand finds mine, fingers intertwining. Once we do this, there's no going back. I meet his eyes, those beautiful gold eyes that saw me when I was nothing, chose me when I was broken. I've never been more sure of anything. Magistra Ellen steps forward, her voice magically amplified to reach every ear. We gather under the moon's light to witness the bonding of King and Luna, the sealing of a mate bond blessed by the goddess herself. Her ice-blue eyes sweep the crowd. Some have questioned this union. Some have called it improper, dangerous, a threat to the natural order. Murmurs ripple through the assembled wolves. I feel their judgment, their doubt. Ellen's expression hardens. Those voices forget that the moon chooses according to her own wisdom, not ours. And she has chosen remarkably. She gestures, and 2 attendants come forward bearing a silver chalice filled with moon water, rainwater collected during the eclipse, blessed by the eldest priestesses. Kalira of House Linares, Ellen intones, and hearing my true name spoken aloud still sends shivers through me. Do you accept the responsibilities of Luna? To stand beside your mate as partner and equal? To protect the packs under your care? To serve with wisdom, strength, and compassion? My voice rings clear. I do. And do you, Aaron Valorand, King of the Northern Realm, accept this woman as your Luna? Not as property or prize, but as your equal partner in all things. Aaron's hand tightens on mine. I do. Then drink, and let the bond be sealed. Aaron takes the chalice first, drinks deeply, then passes it to me. The moon water is cold and sweet, tingling with magic as it slides down my throat. The mate bond ignites. Not violently like before, but with a steady, burning warmth that fills every corner of my being. I feel Aaron's wolf merge with mine, 2 souls intertwining until I can't tell where one ends and the other begins. Ours, my wolf purrs. Forever ours. Forever, his wolf agrees. When I open my eyes, tears are streaming down my face. Aaron's eyes are bright too, overwhelmed by the same profound connection. Ellen raises her hands. The bond is sealed. The moon has witnessed. I present to you, Luna Kalira Valorand. The response is mixed. Some wolves cheer, genuine in their acceptance. Others remain silent, faces carved from stone. A few actually turn away, unwilling to acknowledge what they consider an abomination. Aaron's jaw tightens. I squeeze his hand. Let me, I whisper. I step forward, and my wolf rises with me, no longer buried, no longer suppressed. My Linares power radiates outward, silver light that makes the nearest wolves drop their eyes in automatic deference. I know what many of you think, I say, and magic carries my voice to every ear. That I'm unworthy, that I rose too high, too fast, that a girl who scrubbed floors has no business wearing a crown. Uncomfortable silence. You're right.
Gasps.
Even Aaron stiffens beside me. I was unworthy, I continued. Not because of my blood or my wolf, but because I believed the lies others told about me. I let myself be small, invisible, broken. My voice strengthens. But I am not that girl anymore. I let the royal mantle fall from my shoulders, pooling at my feet. Beneath it, the stitched remains of my mother's dress gleam in the moonlight. Every tear, every stain, every mark of cruelty worn like armor. This is what they did to me, I say quietly. My stepsisters. The woman who murdered my mother and stole my heritage. They tore apart the only thing I owned because they wanted me to believe I deserved nothing better. I pick up the mantle, but I don't put it back on.
Not yet.
I could have stayed broken, could have run away that night, and spent my life hiding. But I chose to stand. My eyes sweep the crowd, meeting every gaze that will hold mine. I chose to walk into a hall full of wolves who mocked me. I chose to survive a ritual meant to destroy me. I chose to fight for a bond others called cursed. I turn to Aaron, and the love in his eyes nearly undoes me. And I choose, now, to stand beside a king who saw worth in a servant girl. Not because he was blinded or bewitched. I raise my voice over the murmurs, but because he understood something many of you have forgotten. I face the crowd again. Strength isn't about being unbroken. It's about what you do with the broken pieces. Silence. Absolute silence. Then, from the back of the crowd, a single wolf drops to one knee. An older female, scarred and gray-muzzled. Luna, she says clearly, I acknowledge you. Another wolf kneels. Then another. Then dozens, hundreds, like dominoes falling. Not all of them. There are still those who remain standing, faces hard with disapproval. But enough. More than enough. Aaron steps up beside me, and this time when he drapes the mantle over my shoulders, it feels different. Not like protection, but like the symbol it truly is, partnership. My Luna speaks truth, he says, his voice carrying the weight of royal command. And she's inspired me to speak on my own. Confused murmurs. For 300 years, the Valoran line has ruled with absolute authority. Our word was law. Our will is unquestioned. He pauses. That ends today.
What?
The shock ripples through the crowd like a shockwave. I hereby establish a council of alphas, Aaron continues. Representatives from every major pack, elected by their people. They will advise on laws, have a voice in policy, and serve as a check against monarchical excess. He looks down at me, and there's fierce pride in his expression. Because my mate has taught me that strength comes not from dominance, but from partnership. The implications are staggering. He's voluntarily limiting his own power, sharing authority that has been absolute for centuries. Furthermore, I add, my wolf lending strength to my voice. Our first act as King and Luna will be to rewrite the laws governing omegas, orphans, and unmated wolves. No one will be treated as property. No one will be forced into servitude because they lack pack protection. I think of the girl I was, scrubbing floors while her stepfamily feasted. No one will suffer as I suffered. Not in this realm. Not anymore. The cheering, when it comes, is thunderous. 3 months later, the new council chambers are nearly complete, a circular room where no seat is higher than another, where alphas from packs great and small sit as equals. Magdalene was executed at dawn 2 months ago, her treason proven beyond doubt. She went to her death still screaming about prophecies and doom, about how I would destroy everything. Velith and Serona were captured trying to flee to the southern territories. They're in the dungeons now, awaiting trial. Part of me feels nothing but savage satisfaction. Part of me, the part that remembers being sisters however false that bond was, feels something more complicated. Mostly, I feel free. Luna? A young Omega girl peeks into my office, clutching a stack of papers. The new housing proposals are ready for your review. I smile at her. Mira, rescued from a pack that was using her as little better than a slave. One of dozens we've freed since the new laws passed. Thank you, Mira. Leave them on the desk. She does, but lingers. Luna, may I ask you something? Of course. How did you do it? Her voice is soft, awed. How did you go from what you were to this? She gestures around my office, the seat of Luna authority, second only to the king's own chambers. I think about it carefully. I didn't stop being what I was. I finally say. I just added to it. The girl who scrubbed floors is still here. I touch my chest. She just learned she could also be more. Learned she deserved to be more. But how did you believe it? I had help. I glance toward the window, where I can see Aaron in the training yard, working with young wolves. Even from here, the mate bond hums between us, warm and sure. Someone believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. That made all the difference. Mira nods slowly. Thank you, Luna. After she leaves, I turn to the housing proposals, but my eyes catch on my reflection in the polished silver mirror Aaron insisted on hanging. I'm wearing a simple day gown, nothing like the elaborate creations the court ladies favor. But around my neck, a pendant Aaron commissioned. A crescent moon in white gold, with a small piece of pale blue fabric preserved in crystal at its center. My mother's dress. What remains of it hangs in my wardrobe, too precious to wear daily. But this piece stays with me always. A reminder. I didn't rise because I was chosen by a powerful mate, though I was. I didn't rise because I had Linaris blood, though I do. I rose because I stood up when they tried to keep me down. Because I walked into that pavilion in torn silk and bare feet. Because I survived the ritual meant to break me. Because I chose, again and again, to be more than what they said I could be. That is why I'm Luna. The door opens again, and this time it's Aaron, fresh from training, still radiating heat and power. He crosses the room in 3 strides and pulls me into his arms, kissing me with a hunger that makes my toes curl. Missed you, he murmurs against my lips. You saw me 2 hours ago. Far too long. He grins, then sobers slightly. The new council members arrived. They want to meet with us before the formal session tomorrow. Nervous? Terrified, he admits. I'm giving up power my ancestors would have killed to keep. What if I'm wrong? What if? I press my fingers to his lips. You're not wrong. We're building something better. Together. His eyes search mine, then he smiles. That rare, genuine smile that still makes my heart skip. Together. He kisses me again, slower this time, and I sink into it. Into him. Into the bond that saved us both. Outside, the moon rises over a kingdom being reborn. And in the throne room, workers hang a new banner, the traditional Valoran crest, but modified. Where once a single wolf stood alone, now two stand side by side, equal and proud. King and Luna. Partner and partner. Not a fairy tale ending, those were always lies. But something better. Something real. Something of ours. The moon garden is in full bloom when I feel the first flutter. I'm walking the paths I've walked 100 times with Aaron, but tonight I'm alone, enjoying the quiet. My hand rests absently on my stomach, still flat, but not for much longer. The flutter comes again, stronger. Unmistakable.
Life.
Tears spring to my eyes as I press both hands to my belly, feeling the tiny spark of existence growing there.
Our child.
Mine and Aaron's. I felt that. I spin to find my mate standing at the garden gate, eyes wide with wonder. The bond must have told him that surge of emotion was too strong to hide. He crosses to me in seconds, dropping to his knees and pressing his ear to my stomach. Hello, little one, he whispers. We've been waiting for you. I thread my fingers through his dark hair, overwhelmed by the perfection of this moment. Air, I manage. They're going to say we're securing the bloodline, cementing power. They can say what they want. Aaron looks up at me, and his eyes are bright. We're having a baby because we love each other. Because we want a family. Politics can go hang. I laugh through my tears. He stands, pulling me against him, and we sway there in the moonlight like we're dancing to music only we can hear. What do you think? I whisper. Boy or girl? Doesn't matter. His hand covers mine on my belly. As long as they're healthy.
And happy.
And know they're loved. They'll know. I'm certain of it. They'll never doubt it for a moment. Because I know what it's like to grow up unloved, unwanted. I know the poison of believing you're worthless. Our child will never know that pain. They'll grow up in a palace, yes, but also in a kingdom being reshaped by compassion. They'll see their mother rule, with wisdom born from suffering. Their father lead with strength tempered by love. They'll learn that being broken doesn't mean being weak. That standing up matters more than never falling down. That sometimes the most powerful magic is simply refusing to give up. Aaron kisses my temple, my cheek, finally my lips. I love you, he murmurs. My Luna. My mate. My everything. I love you too. And I do. More than I thought possible. More than the girl in ashes could have ever imagined. The moon shines down on us, blessing and benediction. And somewhere in the night, I swear I hear my mother's voice, soft and proud. Well done, my daughter. Well done. In the years that follow, Luna Kalira's reforms transform the realm. Omegas gain rights and protections. Orphanages are established and funded. The Council of Alphas becomes a model of shared governance. King Aaron and Luna Kalira rule for 50 years, beloved and feared in equal measure. They have 3 children, all born with the Linaris gift, all raised to lead with compassion. The prophecy, in the end, proves true. The Luna chosen in bloodshed saves the kingdom. Not through power or dominance, but through the revolutionary act of caring for those the world forgot. And in the royal archives, preserved in crystal, hangs a torn blue dress, a reminder that the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fires, that beauty can rise from ashes, that hope, however treacherous, is always worth holding on to. Always.